going to be looking at the activities of illegal tax collectors as we've witnessed in Enugu East local government area and leading down toward Nsukka. These tax collectors have been embroiled in lots of issues we've been discussing this week, even the clash that eventually ended up claiming the life of one Kingsley Aguna because the police actually clashed with those tax collectors, and Kingsley was a victim, though he was just at a nearby bar. So you can see that sometimes confusion such as this, when not checked, can lead to implications such as this. So let's take a look at this now with a special guest, Chief Kenneth Ago, the chairman, Nigerian Legion, Enugu East local government area, and a retired naval officer. Thank you for being with us this morning, sir.
Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, good morning. So we've seen, you're trying to separate issues. You're reporting about alleged murder by a police officer. Someone has died because of injuries suffered from this purported beating and brutalization. But then on the other side, you have the illegal tax collectors, or no, they don't even know if they are illegal because nobody has told them that they are illegal. So they're saying that if they're operating just a stone throw from the Enugu East local government, then that means that they might as well be legal because no one has told them otherwise. And then I'm being informed that those collectors along that axis are not even violent. That when you head up towards Nsukka, that's when you meet the ones that could go as far as breaking your windscreen. Now, NATO and NURTW paid an urgent visit to Enugu, saying that these tax collectors, and I suspect they're referring to the ones up towards Nsukka, are beating their drivers, breaking their heads, breaking their windscreen, and they have so many pictures to show. But of course, because of our minors on screen, I wouldn't like to put that up just yet. It's really becoming something else. Where is it done that people carry planks, stand on the road, and basically attack your vehicle because you would not give them an amount that is not even fixed?
Well, most of those people are touts and extortionists. They're just extorting people. Because in Enugu State, I'm aware that His Excellency Peter Mba has consolidated a platform for revenue payments and tax collection. And like yesterday, we had a town hall meeting, we had a stakeholders meeting with His Excellency in Enugu North local government. And Professor Chidoben blew our mind because we discussed about the tax issues and other pressing matters. Then he told us that the government has recovered over 81 billion from tax that was not accounted for, that usually enters people's pockets. Those people have already been used to collecting money, those monies. Now the government is trying to tie them up. So the best thing for you as a motorist or a shop owner or a taxpayer is to know the actual legitimate platform to pay your taxes to the right people. Because most of those touts and extortionists on the highway, they are not really remitting the revenue to the government. So it's entering their pockets. And it's like they are taking advantage of the proximity or the volatile areas. They go and tax people or force them. It's just like robbery. They're just indirectly robbing those people.
These drivers are saying that they are being robbed, that when they refuse to give these tax collectors money, they actually end up breaking into the car and collecting everything that they have. Now, how can we say that these people are not remitting to the government? Because like I tried to establish earlier, you have the local government secretariat just a stone throw away. How is it possible that they have not even told these tax collectors that they're not supposed to be there? So the question is, who are they sharing this money with if they are truly not giving it to the government or pocketing it all? Who are they sharing it with?
I'll tell you for sure that those type of aggressive drive to collect money is not occasioned by the government, the local government or the state government. Those are extortionists. And that is where the neighborhood watch comes in. Because if you have a synergy with the neighborhood watch, you will actually, they will help you to arrest those people, confirm their identities. Because the police cannot do everything. Because if you try to go and call the police, maybe they won't respond as the local neighborhood watch or the forest guards, like all those people that have problems at the express. You know, if they have a connection with those forest guards assign those places. You can call them. They can help you out with those people extorting money from you.
But you're dealing with people that carry planks and machetes. These are not people that you
know
just
that
pick
they're
up.
carrying planks and machetes, but in the area that they're operating, there are indigenes there. And if you bring those indigenes around to form a neighborhood or check all those people, they will know them and they will get at them. But most of them are extortionists. This is not the way government collects their revenue.
But my question is, right, who stimulates these individuals? Because for them to be boldened to be on the road doing what they do, we don't tell me that we wouldn't see the patrol vehicles of our security agencies moving past them and they still do what they do. So
And not just moving past them. Like, we're made to understand according to the accounts given by the perishable goods seller, transporter that we interviewed, they don't even like to carry police officers all the time. They go as far as carrying soldiers just to bypass these checkpoints. So it's not a thing of the security operatives just walking by. These are people that actually sometimes allegedly join these perishable goods transporters to get by, to protect them. So these tax collectors are basically exploiting mostly perishable goods transporters, people that are bringing agricultural produce into the state across the southeast, because like one of them said, Enugu is central to their commute.
Yeah, just like I mentioned before, Professor Onya, the SSG, he analyzed some things for us yesterday in the meeting, that money is being recovered. Those taxes are now, most of them are going into the government coffers. And these are monies that has been entering other people's pockets, individual pockets. So now, as it's tightening up, they are more aggressive in trying to, cash in or trying to cash out from some victims, on the highway. And the way things are, it's good to mobilize indigenes or neighborhood watches to checkmate those people, because the military and the police could be helping, but they might not be readily available to intervene in some places. But when we have a workable and an efficient neighborhood watch, because those are the first responders, those are the people you can contact. If you're coming to a particular community, you have the neighborhood watch or the CSO of the community, and you can be in contact with them in case there is any type of criminality or people trying to extort you. You call them, because those are the people also connected to the government. If they cannot handle it, they will not involve the police or the army to assist.
Well, are there any conversation already going on to, find a way to eradicate these menace? The conversation started already, because apparently even at Ogui Road, Obwete, there's something I used to notice. There are certain men that used to stand there and they give you sign to stop. And when you halt, they come and start harassing you to give them radio fee, levy, and whatnot, right? This is because there are pinpoint places in Enugu State. You just stand and they are close to the local government headquarters.
Yeah, this extortion has been happening. It's not a new thing. The only thing is that government has made it more difficult for them to operate. They can come out and operate near the local government and move.
And I see a place of people not knowing their rights.
Apart from knowing your rights, there have to be an enforcement. People checkmating those doing this evil. There have to be people checkmating, because now the taxes are getting to the government. Majority of the taxes, although they have not reached the target set by the state government, and the governor is trying his best to use this money to put in projects like the smart schools, the medical centers they are building everywhere, then the roads. You see, the governor wants to channel those money, because most of these projects the governor is doing now in Enugu State is not from the federal allocation. It's from those taxes, and they are taking food from those people that have been benefiting from this illegal taxation and extortion. So the government has to do more, yes, and the community has to do more. And I know the governor is checkmating those people. There is an incidence of some people being relieved of their duty because of illegal taxation or trying to divert some funds, because they are used to collecting this money. And now the government is trying to checkmate, trying to stop them. It's not an easy thing. They are fighting back. That's why they are more aggressive.
Why would they be fighting the government?
Because they are used to eating this money. Imagine, it's 1 billion has been recovered, more than.
In this case, nobody was fingered. Like, they are the ones who are making energizing these men, these individuals, to go ahead and be collecting these monies, which they're not reverting back to the government's coffers. Is going back into their pockets, their personal pockets.
You might not know about it, but things are being done. Some heads have been rolling. The governor is not laughing. And they are very intentional about these revenue issues, because those loopholes make it impossible for the government to function properly. And people will be paying taxes or paying some fees or dues. They will believe they are paying it to the government. Meanwhile, it's not entering the government coffers. So my advice is that if you know what you are supposed to pay, the dues or the revenue you are supposed to pay to the government, go to the appropriate office.
They've made revenue channels.
So, yes, don't pay on the way. Go to the appropriate office. It is in the local government or the revenue office. Go there and pay it and have your receipts, because that empowers you. But if you are dodging to go to the
cut corners,
and cut corners, you will keep paying, because when you give them 5,000 today, tomorrow you will still give them another money. But when you have the official receipt from the government that you have paid this money, you have the right of way, and you have already paid to the government coffers. As most of them, when they see that you have the right receipt from the government, they will shy away.
Okay.
All right, now let's look at the way forward, because we're seeing that the police obviously has its hands full, soldiers have their hands full, and we cannot underestimate the violence with which these illegal tax collectors operate. So what is the way to handle this without creating yet another case of, brutalizing individuals? Because that's you're trying to match violence with violence in some of these cases. How do you limit the damage?
Well, the damage is so much, even in the economy, because most of these perishable goods are coming down here, so that to sustain, those consumers over here. And if those people can even delay your delivery period, and most of these things can get spoiled, most of the produce can get spoiled on transit. It's also affecting the economy. It's also affecting, is like a spread effect going on. So just like I said, try and pay your dues to the appropriate quarters and office.
But that is easy to say. How does an agricultural produce commuter do that when he's at that point being ordered, mandated, being shaken, his windscreen is being broken, and he's asked to pay that 500 or 1,000, whatever money they're asking for?
Those ones are extorting. If you have the right channel to pay, you can pay in advance. If you know how to pay, you can even pay online. When you pay and you have your receipt, you are empowered.
So I understand that. I understand it. Yeah. But for commuters watching now who may be harassed tomorrow or next, how would you advise them to deal with such a situation that they have just been surrounded by 4 or 5 illegal tax collectors, and they're asked to pay an amount of money? And these collectors will not even give them any time to say, oh, I've already paid at Obola I've paid this amount. They're not going to listen to that. What they want is that money in the moment. How does such a driver protect himself and not get his head broken?
Well, it's just by God's grace, because in those volatile areas or lonely areas in the express, there's really nothing you can do. If those type of people are costed, the only thing you have to pay. But when we have improved security or patrol teams going around, or people enforcing, then those people bringing those produce, they can have an arrangement. When they come to the border area to Enugu, they can come together at a particular time, and they will be escorted, and they will pass those people. They will pass those illegal checkpoints. The government can arrange for a patrol team to escort them in, pass, so that they will not be, singled out and attacked or extorted, because those places are really lonely in the express.
Yes.
Like that Obola and stuff, and those are volatile areas.
Very volatile indeed.
So the good thing they can do there is to, as they are crying out now, their union, they can come together and have a particular time they assemble, or a particular number of trucks that assemble. then they will have an escort to escort them.
Is this not empowering those louts to keep doing what they are doing? Because it seems like they're overpowering.
But let me tell you
powers that
something
be.
now. Let me tell
Yeah.
you something now. When the government takes some drastic measures against those people, you will still see some people in the community coming to complain. You know, that they have done this to these people. They have done. They will not be. They won't remember that they have been extorting money from, innocent.
Well, it's always right to make someone a scapegoat, and then everybody will learn from.
Yeah, but yeah, it's good. It's good to do that. But I'm just telling you, because very soon now, I know government is working on this thing.
Yeah.
The state government is working on it. You will hear some news now, and people
We'll
will
be
want
causing
to,
people pain.
people want to
Yeah.
change the narrative and
It's
turn
vividly-
it against
it's
that
vividly
the government
yeah.
is doing this or doing that. But they will not remember that they are protecting those innocent commuters or transporters, bringing in
They are
the
already
goods and
crying out.
services.
They're already crying out. It's vividly seen. So when the government takes this action, right, nobody should be crying foul that
Yeah,
they did
I
this to
know
my
the
brother
government
and
is
all that.
working on it. I know,
they are causing pain
because
to
they
people.
have modalities
Yeah.
checkmating this. It might not be actually showing now, but on the background, things are happening and
I just hope this is looked into, because the adverse effect is going to affect everyone.
No, it's affecting already because we depend on those produce coming in from the north to survive here in Enugu. We have not started feeding ourselves yet. So anything that happens to those drivers or those commuters or those people bringing services over here also affect the prices and the availability of those services and goods.
Perhaps.